Over the last few decades, the NBA has become a global game, with many of the top stars coming from outside of the United States. That said, there's a long history of foreign-born players making a splash in the NBA, so this series is digging into each country's history of NBA draft picks. Today, we're looking at Australia, but it's important to note that I'm only including players who were actually born in Australia, not guys like Al Green and Leroy Loggins, who became citizens years after they were drafted. Very quickly, a few honorable mentions worth mentioning are Andrew Gaze, Matthew Dellavedova, and Joe Ingles. With that out of the way, let's take a look back at every Australian player drafted to the NBA as of 2025. Ed Palubinskas. During high school, Palubinskas was described as the best offensive player in the history of Australia by coach Lindsay Grays. That led to the young guard moving to the States to play at Ricks College in 1970. In 71, he led the nation in free throw percentage at 92.4% and became an NJCAA All-American with 24 points a night. After playing in the Munich Olympics, where he put up big points, Palubinskas transferred to LSU. He dropped 18.5 points a night over 2 seasons, making the All-SEC second-team roster in 1973. The Hawks picked him in the 4th round of the 1974 draft and traded him to the Jazz. He was also picked by the Utah Stars in the ABA draft, but never played professionally in either league. Instead, he moved back to Australia and played for several years before becoming an assistant coach at BYU in 1986. He took a similar role in '92 with LSU and then coached at various high schools for the next few years. For the 2001 season, Palubinskas became Shaquille O'Neal's shooting coach, winning a ring with the Lakers. Over the years, he also worked with Dwight Howard, Brandon Bass, and Lisa Leslie to name a few. He also released a few instructional videos and started his own basketball school. Luc Longley. Longley's dad was 6'10" and played on 2 Australian Olympic teams. Meanwhile, his mom was 6'4", so it's not a huge surprise that the big 7-footer grew up to be a star basketball player. He got his start with the Perth Wildcats, where one of his brothers also played. In '87, he joined the Perth Redbacks, where he won 2 Australian State League championships. While winning those titles, he was also attending New Mexico State University. After a middling freshman season, Longley averaged about 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks a night over his final 3 seasons, making 3 all-WAC teams in the process. The Timberwolves picked him 7th overall in the 1991 draft. Like in college, Longley got off to a relatively slow start in Minnesota, which ultimately led to his trade to the Bulls in '94. Longley became Chicago's starting center, helping the team win 3 straight titles from '96 to '98, though his biggest contribution during that stretch might have been his ability to set great picks for Michael Jordan. When the Bulls broke up and MJ retired, Longley was sent to the Suns in a sign-and-trade deal. He was traded to the Knicks after 2 seasons and retired in 2001 after an injury-plagued season. Longley has mostly been enjoying his retirement back in Australia since then, though he was an assistant coach for the country's national team from 2013 to 2019. Chris Anstey. Anstey didn't start playing basketball until he was 17. Instead, he was a solid tennis player, ranking 2nd overall among Australia's 15-year-old players at one point. However, when he hit 7 feet, Anstey decided to make the switch and join the Melbourne Tigers. He continued to work on his game over the next few years in the NBL, winning the league's Most Improved Player award in 1996. The Trailblazers picked him 18th overall in the 1997 draft, but they traded him to Dallas soon after. Hopes were high that his footwork from his tennis days would carry over, but Anstey's 2 seasons in Dallas were limited by injuries. When healthy, he averaged about 5 points and 3 rebounds off the bench, but missed big chunks of his rookie season and continued to deal with injuries in the lockout-shortened '99 season. He was traded to Chicago in 2000 and boosted his numbers to 6 points and 4 rebounds while playing in 73 games. Still, he left the NBA after the season and went back to the NBL. He played through the 2010 season, winning 2 MVPs and 3 championships. Anstey became a coach after hanging him up, coaching the Melbourne Tigers from 2012 to 2015. As of 2025, he's working with a sports media company based on the Gold Coast. His daughter Izzy played college ball for UCLA from 2021 to 2024. Paul Rogers. Rogers was born in Adelaide and started playing for the 36ers in '92. The next year, he moved to the States to play college ball at North Idaho before transferring to Gonzaga in '94 and making one All-WCC team. He was primed for a big season in '97, but broke his foot early in the season. The Lakers picked him in the second round of that year's draft, but he never played in the NBA. Instead, Rogers signed with Real Madrid for a season before heading back to Australia. He technically signed with the Raptors in '99, but did not play after breaking his leg and ankle. Rogers spent most of his career in the NBL, winning 2 titles and an MVP in 2000. He retired from playing in 2010 and is working as an assistant coach in Australia as of 2025. Ben Pepper. The big 7-footer started his NBL career in '96 with the Newcastle Falcons. The next year, he picked up the NBL's Most Improved Player and won 6th Man of the Year. Pepper decided to jump into the '97 draft, where the Celtics picked him in the second round. He never played in the NBA, instead going back to the NBL, where he played through the 2008 season. After retiring from the game, he started working at his family's car dealership. As of 2022, he is still working there and coaching his daughter's youth team. David Andersen. Andersen did not quite hit 7 feet like many of the guys so far, but at 6'11 he was close enough. He started his NBL career with the Frankston Blues, but jumped around a few times before moving overseas. Andersen went to Italy in 1999 and stayed there through 2004, winning 2 Italian Cups, 2 LBA championships, and 1 EuroLeague title with Bologna. In 2002, the Hawks picked the big guy in the second round of the draft, but he elected to stay in Europe. When his Italian club went into bankruptcy in 2003, Andersen moved to Siena for a year before joining CSKA Moscow. He won 4 Russian League titles, 3 Russian Cups, and a 3rd EuroLeague championship during his 4-year run there. Andersen then joined Barcelona for a season, adding a Liga ACB championship to his shelf. In 2009, Andersen finally joined the NBA after the Hawks traded his contract to the Rockets. As a 29-year-old rookie, Andersen averaged 6 points and 3 rebounds off the bench. He was traded to the Raptors during the offseason, who traded him shortly after, this time to the Hornets. Andersen's NBA career was over after the season, so he went back to Italy for a year. He then spent some time in Turkey and France before returning to Australia, where he played through the 2021 season. In addition to his club career, Andersen played on 4 Olympic teams for Australia. After retiring, he took a role with the NBL, where he helps as a player liaison and with special projects. Andrew Bogut. Bogut was born in Melbourne, but his parents are from Croatia, so during his younger years, he modeled his game after Tony Kukoc. He grew into a 7-footer as a youth, which led to a scholarship at Utah. Bogut won the MWC Freshman of the Year in 2004 and took a big jump to win the National College Player of the Year in 2005 behind 20.4 points, 12.2 boards, and 2 blocks a night. The Bucks picked him first overall in the 2005 draft. His game translated well, finishing his rookie season in 3rd for Rookie of the Year voting with 9.4 points and 7 boards. His numbers continued to improve over the next few years, peaking at 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks in 2010 when he made his only All-NBA 3rd team. The next year, Bogut finished as the league leader in blocks, but he struggled with injuries in 2012 and 2013. During the latter season, Bogut and Steven Jackson were traded to the Warriors for a package that included Monte Ellis. Unfortunately, he never got back up to his former heights, though Bogut remained a solid inside defender, helping the Curry Warriors win a title in 2015. Injuries kept holding him back, and Draymond Green was starting to emerge, so Bogut was traded to the Mavs ahead of the 2017 season. He played for a few more years, but was largely ineffective during his time in Dallas, Cleveland, and LA before retiring in 2019 after one last season with the Warriors. Bogut did one more season in the NBL before retiring. In addition to his successful NBA career, Bogut played in 3 Olympics, missing the 2012 games with an injury. As of 2025, Bogut is working as an assistant coach with the Sydney Kings in the NBL. Brad Newley. Newley was born in Adelaide and is only 6'6", which seems like a rarity at this point in Australia's NBA lineage. Anyway, he played in the NBL with the Townsville Crocodiles from 04 to 07, picking up an All-Star nom in 07. The Rockets picked him in the second round of the 2007 draft, and Newley averaged 3 points and 3 rebounds in Summer League before heading to Europe. Newley spent time in Greece, Turkey, Lithuania, and Spain, making the Greek and Lithuanian All-Star teams during his 9 years in Europe. Newley went back to the NBL in 2016 and played through the 2023 season. He's since taken a front office job with the Melbourne United, where he's working as of 2025. Nathan Jawai. Jawai was born in Sydney and started playing in the QBL and CBA in 2004. The big man was an all-star in both leagues in 04 and 07, which led to the Pacers picking him in the second round of the 2008 draft. The team quickly traded him to the Raptors, where Jawai picked up the nickname Outback Shaq due to his supposed resemblance to Shaquille O'Neal, though I'm not really sure I see it. He did not play until 2009, when he became the first Indigenous Australian to play in the NBA. Over 6 games, Jawai averaged more personal fouls than points, and spent most of that season in the D-League. Jawai was sent to the Mavs in the offseason, who then traded him to the Timberwolves. In 39 games, he averaged about 3 points and 3 rebounds that year, though he did score 16 in a game against the Trailblazers. After the season, Jawai headed to Europe, spending time in Russia, Spain, Turkey, and Andorra, before going back to Australia in 2015. He played at various levels in his home country through the 2024 season, winning an NBL title in 2016 and a Copa del Rey de Baloncesto with Barcelona in 2013. As of a 2025 interview, it sounds like he's looking for his next steps and is mostly working with his foundation. Patty Mills. Mills is Jawai's cousin, but he took a different path to the NBA. After a successful career at the Australian lower levels, Mills earned a scholarship to play for St. Mary's College of California. He won the WCC Newcomer of the Year and First Team All-WCC honors while helping the Gales to a top 25 ranking. Mills was again an All-WCC First Teamer as a sophomore, with 14 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals per game. The Trailblazers picked him in the second round of the 2009 draft, but he broke his foot before Summer League. He eventually made his NBA debut in 2010, but mostly played in the D-League. Mills played sparingly with Portland over his first 2 seasons, and was traded to the Spurs in 2012. There, he'd become one of San Antonio's key bench players, helping them win a title in 2014. Mills spent 10 years with the Spurs, starting just 57 games, but averaging 9.4 points and 2.4 assists. In 2022, he signed with the Nets and spent the next few seasons jumping around the league until retiring in 2025. Mills is probably best known for his national team play, routinely helping the Aussies to great heights, including the 2020 Olympics, where the guard dropped 42 points in the bronze medal game to give the country its first ever medal in men's basketball. As of the 2024 games, he is 5th all-time on the Olympic scoring list. Kyrie Irving. Look, I know some people will take issue with Kyrie being here, but he was technically born in Melbourne. That said, he moved to New Jersey when he was 2, so he only counts as a technicality, and I'm going to keep this short. He was a star high school player, making the 2010 McDonald's All-American team. Kyrie then played at Duke for a year, and the Cavs picked him first overall in the 2011 draft. He is a 9-time All-Star and a 1-time champ. Irving has one of the best handles we've ever seen, and is an excellent point guard, though his love for conspiracy theories may have held back his career at times. He also dropped 16 points on the Aussies in the 2016 Olympics while playing for Team USA, really sticking it to his technical home country. As of 2025, he's playing with the Dallas Mavericks. Dante Exum. Exum was born in Melbourne and impressed scouts with his all-around game as a youngster. The 6'6" point guard was playing well in camps and decided to skip a college career and enter the 2014 draft. The Jazz picked him 5th overall, banking on his potential as a defender and distributor, while hoping he'd continue to develop as a shot maker. He was okay as a rookie, averaging 5 points and 2 assists, but tore his ACL that summer and missed the entire 2016 season. Exum came back to play in 66 games in 2017, upping most of his averages, but injuries hit again in 2018, limiting him to just 14 games. He came back in 2019, but just kept getting injured, which led to a trade to Cleveland in 2020. After a year and change with the Cavs, where Exum played in only 30 games, he spent a few years playing overseas, doing stints in Spain and Serbia. In 2023, Exum signed with the Mavs. He's continued to miss some time with injury, but is still with the Mavs as of the 2026 season. Cameron Bairstow. Bairstow was born in Brisbane. 3 of his siblings played college basketball. Jared played at the University of Central Oklahoma, while Stephanie and Sean played at Utah State. Cam eventually signed with New Mexico for college ball. He grew into a first-team All-Mountain West player in 2014, averaging 20 points and 7.4 boards. The Bulls picked him in the 2nd round of that year's draft. He spent 2 years in Chicago, averaging 1.2 points and 1 rebound while playing in 36 total games. Bairstow then moved back to Australia, playing through the 2022 season. As of 2025, he is working as a sports agent. Ben Simmons. Simmons was born in Melbourne, where his dad Dave played for the Tigers from 1989 to 1996. The younger Simmons quickly became a star basketball player and moved to the States as a high school sophomore to play basketball at Montverde Academy. There, he grew into a McDonald's All-American and earned a scholarship to LSU. With the Tigers, Simmons won the National Freshman of the Year award with 19 points, 12 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block a night. Simmons decided to forego his final 3 years of eligibility and enter the 2016 draft. The 76ers picked him 1st overall, but he broke a bone in his foot and missed the entire 2017 season. Simmons came back strong to win the 2018 Rookie of the Year award behind an excellent all-around game. Over the next few years, he made 3 All-Star games and quickly became one of the strongest perimeter defenders in the league by 2020. However, he missed the entire 2022 season with a contract holdout and back injury. That led to a trade to the Nets, where Simmons spent 2 years mostly struggling with injury. For whatever reason, his shot also completely fell off the map, as Simmons went from averaging a respectable 14 points to only 7 in just 2 seasons. It was one of the biggest drop-offs we've seen in the modern NBA, but Simmons was still a relatively solid defender off the bench. He just didn't play much due to injury. The Nets traded him to the Clippers in 2025, where his numbers only dropped further. As of this video, he's currently unsigned, but rumors say he might be joining the Memphis Grizzlies for the 2026 season. Jonah Bolden. Bolden's dad, Bruce, played for 17 years in the NBL. The younger Bolden played well on the youth circuit in Australia and relocated to Nevada to finish his high school career. He signed with UCLA for college, averaging 5 points and 5 rebounds during his lone year on court, though Bolden did take a redshirt year before joining the Bruins lineup. The 76ers picked him in the 2nd round of the 2017 draft. He spent a year playing in Israel before joining Philly for the 2019 season. During that first year, Bolden averaged 5 points and 4 rebounds in 44 games. 4 games into the 2020 season, Bolden was waived and signed with the Suns. He played in a few games before retiring at 25 to start a career in cryptocurrency. However, Bolden came out of retirement in 2023 to play with the Sydney Kings in the NBL. He's been playing quite a bit over the last few seasons, spending time in Puerto Rico, New Zealand, and Australia. As of 2025, he was playing for New South Wales. Josh Green. Green was born in Sydney, where both of his parents played pro ball, so it wasn't a huge surprise when the younger Green became a sports superstar as a youth. As of 2024, he held the world record for 7-year-olds in the 500-meter swim, though he's since been beaten. That said, basketball was definitely his best sport, and his family relocated to Phoenix, Arizona when he was heading into high school to play at Mountain Ridge. He eventually transferred to IMG Academy in Florida and was named to the 2019 McDonald's All-American game. He signed with Arizona and averaged 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.5 steals during his lone year with the Wildcats. Green declared for the draft after the season wrapped, and the Mavericks picked him 18th overall in 2022. He played there for 4 seasons, growing into a solid rotation player by his 3rd year. Ahead of the 2025 season, he was traded to the Hornets as part of the NBA's first 6-team trade. He was a starter during that season, though Charlotte was heavily injured. Still, Green averaged 7 points a night. During the offseason, he underwent shoulder surgery to get him ready to hopefully take a step for the 2026 season. Josh Giddey. Giddey was born in Melbourne to parents who both played professionally for the Tigers. The 6'8" point guard quickly became a star, dominating several international camps and starting his NBL career with the Adelaide 36ers in 2020 as part of the Next Stars program. He won the league's Rookie of the Year award in 2021 and declared for the draft. The Thunder picked him 6th overall that year, and he quickly showed off his all-around game. First, he became just the 2nd player in NBA history to record a scoreless double-double. Then, Giddey became the youngest player to record a triple-double. However, he was ruled out for the season after 54 games. Giddey came back strong, playing well in 2023 by raising his scoring to nearly 17 a night. Unfortunately, he took a slight step back in 2024. Some might attribute that to his legal issues around an improper relationship, but it's more likely that the further ascension of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander took the ball out of Giddey's hands more often, making it difficult for him to play his normal game. After the season, Giddey was traded to the Bulls for Alex Caruso. He played well, but Caruso was one of the missing pieces to the Thunder's 2025 title run, so that has to sting a little bit. What doesn't sting is the 4-year, $100 million contract that Giddey signed ahead of the 2026 season to stay in Chicago. Dyson Daniels. Like the last few players, Daniels' father played pro ball in Australia, so it's not a huge surprise that he turned into a solid player. In 2021, Daniels signed with the NBA G League Ignite to help with his development. The Pelicans picked him 8th overall in the 2022 draft, banking on his potential as a defender and distributor. And yes, I know I've said that before. During his first 2 years, he dealt with injuries and was slightly disappointing, despite showing growth from his first season to his second. Daniels was then traded to Atlanta ahead of the 2025 season, where he finally had his breakout campaign, averaging 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and a league-leading 3 steals a night. He won the Most Improved Player of the Year award and finished in second for Defensive Player of the Year voting. The Great Barrier Thief is waiting to sign his rookie extension as of this video, but he's likely in for a nice pay increase. Luc Travers. Travers was born in Perth, but started his junior career with the Rockingham Flames. He played there for 2 seasons before joining the Perth Wildcats, where Travers won the NBL title in 2020 and NBL Cup in 2021. He declared for the 2022 draft, where the Cavs picked him in the 2nd round. After doing a summer league stint with the team, he went back to Australia, playing one last season with the Wildcats before signing with Melbourne United. Ahead of the 2025 season, he rejoined the Cavs for Summer League and spent most of that season in the G League, but also played in 12 games, averaging 1 point and 1.7 rebounds. Ahead of the 2026 season, Travers has signed a two-way deal with Cleveland. Johnny Furphy. Furphy grew up in Melbourne, playing well enough to earn a scholarship to play college ball at Kansas. During his lone year with the Jayhawks, he averaged 9 points and 5 rebounds to make the Big 12's All-Freshman team in 2024. That year, the Spurs picked him in the second round of the draft. However, they immediately traded his rights to the Pacers. As a rookie, he played in 50 games, averaging 2 points and 1 rebound, while also doing a few stints in the G League. He's hoping to become a more impactful player in year 2. Rocco Zikarsky. Zikarsky grew to 7'3" before signing a contract with the Brisbane Bullets in the NBL as part of the Next Stars program in 2023. The big man struggled to develop into a consistent starter, hurting his NBA prospects. Still, the Bulls picked him in the second round of the 2025 draft and then immediately traded him to the Timberwolves, where he signed a two-way deal. He's looked pretty solid in preseason so far, so it will be fun to watch his rookie season in 2026. Tyrese Proctor. Proctor's dad, Rod, played professionally in the NBL. The younger Proctor started his junior career with the Sutherland Sharks before earning a scholarship to play college ball at Duke. He dropped 9.4 points and 3.3 assists to make the ACC All-Freshman team in 2023. While he never took a major leap, Proctor improved steadily over the next 2 years to make the All-ACC roster in 2025. The Cavs picked him in the second round of that year's draft. He'll likely become an important player, with Darius Garland coming off toe surgery to start 2026. Alex Toohey. Toohey's dad was a cricket player, but the youngster decided to stick with basketball when he was called up to Australia's U15 national team. He was originally going to attend Gonzaga for college ball, but retracted his commitment and instead entered the NBL's Next Star program in 2023. He played well during his first 2 years, winning the NBL's Next Generation Award in 2025. The Suns picked him in the second round of that year's draft, but his rights were traded to the Warriors as part of the 7-team trade that brought Kevin Durant to Houston. For the 2026 season, he's on a two-way contract with Golden State. Lachlan Olbrich. Olbrich grew up playing basketball and volleyball, but switched to the former full-time when he signed with the Adelaide 36ers in the NBL as a developmental player. After a few seasons there, he signed with UC Riverside to play college ball. He was named the Big West Freshman of the Year in 2023 and returned to the NBL after the season. Olbrich played in the league through the 2025 season, winning a league title in 2025 and the New Zealand NBL MVP in 2024. The Lakers picked him in the second round of the 2025 draft and immediately traded his rights to the Bulls. For the 2026 season, Olbrich is on a two-way contract with Chicago. And that is all of the Australian players ever drafted in the NBA. I'll be back at some point with the next country, but for now, why don't you go check out this video about the Argentinian players.